Robert worked for 38 years, paid into the system every single paycheck, never missed a contribution, never asked for anything early, and trusted one thing above everything else in his life: that Social Security would be there when he needed it. But here is what nobody told Robert, and what nobody is telling you right now. The system he built his entire retirement around is running out of money, not in some distant future that feels too far away to worry about. By 2033, that's less than a decade away. And if you are counting on Social Security to survive your retirement, this video could be the most important thing you watch this year. My name is Marcus, and this is Better Path. Before we go any further, I want you to stop for just 1 second. Think about the people in your life who are close to retirement age: your parents, your grandparents, maybe even yourself. Now ask yourself this question: how much of their retirement plan is built entirely around that monthly Social Security check? If the answer is most of it or all of it, stay with me, because what I'm about to share changes everything. Let me take you back to Robert, my father. You met him a few weeks ago on this channel. 38 years of working, 38 years of contributing, 38 years of sacrificing weekends and overtime and time with his family because he believed in the promise: work hard, pay into the system, collect your Social Security at 67. That was the deal. That is what he was told. But when Robert finally sat down and looked at the actual numbers, he realized something that broke him a little inside. Social Security alone was not going to be enough, not even close to enough. And now there is something even worse than what Robert discovered. The Social Security Trust Fund, the actual financial reserve that pays out benefits to retirees right now, is projected to be completely depleted by 2033. That is not a rumor. That is not a political opinion. That is directly from the Social Security Administration's own annual report. So the question is not whether this is real. The question is what happens to people like Robert and people like your parents and maybe people like you when that money runs out. Now, here is where most people check out. They hear Social Security crisis and they think politicians have been saying that for 30 years and nothing happened. And they're right that politicians have been saying it for a long time. But here is what's different right now. The reserves are actually being drawn down. For the first time in decades, Social Security is paying out more than it's taking in. The cushion is shrinking every single year. And the math behind why it's shrinking is something every American needs to understand. So let me explain exactly how Social Security works, because most people, and I mean most people, have no idea how the money actually moves. Every paycheck you receive, a portion is automatically taken out before you ever see it. 6.2% from you, 6.2% from your employer. That's 12.4% of every dollar you earn going into the Social Security system. Now here is what people think happens with that money. They think it's saved for them, like a personal retirement account with their name on it, a vault somewhere in Washington with your contributions sitting inside. It is not. That money is used right now to pay current retirees, today, this month. You're not saving for yourself. You're paying for your parents and your grandparents. And when you retire, the next generation is supposed to pay for you. It's a system that only works if there are always significantly more workers than retirees. And here is where the entire foundation starts to crack. When Social Security was created in 1935, there were approximately 16 workers for every single retiree, 16 people paying in for every one person collecting. The math worked easily. There was plenty of money flowing in. Today, that ratio has collapsed to fewer than 3 workers per retiree, 3 people paying in for every one person collecting, and it's getting worse every single year. The baby boomer generation, the largest generation in American history, is retiring at a rate of 10,000 people per day, every day. 10,000 people leaving the workforce and joining the retiree rolls. The system is being flooded from one end and drained from the other. And the reserve that was supposed to buffer this is disappearing faster than anyone wants to publicly admit. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something directly, and I need you to be completely honest with yourself. If Social Security was cut by 25% tomorrow, would your retirement plan still work? Do you have savings? Do you have investments? Do you have any income source outside of what the government has promised you? Or are you quietly hoping that Congress figures this out before it affects you personally? Because I've talked to a lot of people in Robert's situation, and hoping isn't a retirement strategy. Hoping is what happens when you didn't build a plan. Think about your situation right now and be real with yourself. Then keep watching, because the second half of this video is entirely about what you can actually do. So let's talk about what actually happens in 2033 if nothing changes. The Social Security Administration has been very specific about this. If the trust fund dries up, benefits don't stop completely. The system would still collect payroll taxes, and those taxes would still pay out benefits, but only up to what's coming in, which means benefits would be automatically reduced. Current projections show that reduction would be somewhere between 20 and 25%. Let me make that real for you. If Robert was expecting to receive $1,800 monthly from Social Security, he might only receive $1,350 to $1,440. That's a cut of $360 to $450 every single month. For someone who built their entire retirement budget around that check, that's not a minor inconvenience. That's the difference between paying rent and not paying rent. That's the difference between buying groceries and choosing between groceries and medication. For millions of Americans in Robert's position, a 25% cut is devastating, not uncomfortable, devastating. Now, here's the part that frustrates me the most, and I think it will frustrate you too. Congress could fix this. They've known about this problem for decades. They have options. They could raise the payroll tax cap so higher earners contribute more. They could gradually raise the retirement age. They could find new revenue sources. They could means test benefits for wealthier retirees. There are solutions. But every year that politicians delay, every election cycle when nobody wants to touch the third rail of American politics, the problem gets bigger. The fix gets more painful. And the people who suffer the consequences aren't the politicians sitting in Washington debating it. They're the Roberts of the world, the people who followed every rule, who paid in faithfully for 38 years, who trusted a promise and are now watching that promise quietly unravel. Here's something else I want you to understand, something that often gets overlooked in this conversation. Social Security was never designed to be your entire retirement income. When it was created in 1935, the average American life expectancy was 61 years old. The retirement age was 65. Do you see what that means? Most Americans were never even expected to collect Social Security. It was designed as a safety net for the few who lived long enough to need it. Today, Americans are living well into their 80s and 90s. People are collecting benefits for 20 or 25 or even 30 years. The system was simply never built for this. It was a 1935 solution that we're trying to use to solve a 2033 problem. And the gap between those two realities is exactly where Robert found himself. So what should you actually do? This is the part of the video where I stop talking about the problem and start talking about the path forward. Because there is a path forward, and it's simpler than most people think. I'm going to give you 3 specific things you can do right now, not someday, not after you feel more ready, right now. The first thing is this. Go to ssa.gov and create a free account. Then look up your projected Social Security benefit. Most people watching this right now have never done this. They've been paying into the system for years, decades even, and have no idea what number they're actually going to receive. You can't build a plan around a number you don't know. Once you see your projected monthly benefit, write it down. Then subtract 25% from it. That lower number is what you should plan around. Maybe you receive more. Maybe the government fixes this and you get everything promised.
But if your retirement plan works at 75% of the promised amount, you're protected no matter what happens in Washington. The second thing, start treating Social Security as a bonus, not a foundation. This is a mindset shift more than anything else. Most Americans have it backwards. They build their retirement plan on top of Social Security. Social Security first, then figure out the rest. Flip that completely. Build a plan that works without Social Security. Then when the check arrives, it's extra. It's cushion. It's the difference between comfortable and thriving, not the difference between surviving and struggling. The third thing, and this one is the most important, start building a second income source now. Not a savings account earning 0.5%, not money sitting in a checking account losing value to inflation every year. An actual income-generating asset.
Something outside the government's control. Something that belongs entirely to you. This could be a 401k through your employer. This could be a Roth IRA you open on your own. This could be a simple index fund that tracks the S&P 500. This could be real estate generating rental income. The specific vehicle matters less from the habit of building something that the government cannot reduce by 25% with a single policy decision. Because whatever politicians do or do not do in Washington, your personal index fund keeps growing. Your Roth IRA keeps compounding. Your rental property keeps generating income. That is the kind of security that no trust fund depletion can touch. Now, I want to be honest with you about something. Robert did not have this conversation at 30. He did not have it at 40. He did not even have it at 50. He had it at 62, when the math was already mostly locked in, when the time to make dramatic changes had mostly passed. And that is the part that hurts most when I sit across from him. Not the money, the time, the decades of opportunity that passed quietly while he trusted a system that was never as stable as it appeared. But here is what I want you to hold on to. You are having this conversation right now. Whether you're 25 or 35 or 45 or even 55, you are having it now. And that is the difference. That is literally the only thing that separates the people who end up like Robert from the people who end up somewhere completely different. Let me ask you one final question before we close. After everything you just heard, what is the one thing you are going to do this week? Not this year, not someday, this week. Is it going to be logging into ssa.gov for the first time? Is it going to be opening that IRA you've been putting off? Is it going to be talking to someone in your family who needs to hear what you just heard? Whatever it is, do it this week. Because the system is not going to wait for you to feel ready. The 2033 clock is already running. The system was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you just comfortable enough to keep working. Social Security is a safety net, but safety nets have holes, and the one that millions of Americans are counting on has a very large hole forming right now. The question is not whether you trust the government to fix it. The question is whether you are going to build something they cannot take away. If this video opened your eyes to something you needed to hear, subscribe to Better Path right now. Hit that subscribe button below, because every single week we break down the financial realities that the system never taught you, so you can build a future that actually belongs to you, not to a policy decision, not to a trust fund balance, to you. And if you want to see where Robert's story started and understand how a man who did everything right still ended up in this position, watch that video right here, because his story is not over, and neither is yours. See you in the next video.